I actually booked a national commercial during this time, so that was amazing news. If you've ever been on a set, you know that it's a very hands-on type of situation. There's people grabbing equipment, moving things. You have hair and makeup people, actors working very closely together. It just seemed like everything was going to have to change in order for this type of thing to work. So I'm here to tell you what it's like to film during COVID-19. As an actor, even the very start of the process is completely different. I mean, we've all probably had to do self-tapes once in a while for TV or film, but now even commercials are going the way of self-tape. And I've heard that even when things get back to normal or more in person, that casting is still probably going to rely a lot, is going to rely heavily on self-tapes. So self-taping for a commercial audition is interesting because a lot of times you don't necessarily have lines. You're just doing kind of a simple action, and it's hard to know whether whether you did the damn thing or not. So the biggest piece of advice that I would have from having just booked this commercial is follow directions. Follow exactly what the casting director has said. For instance, for this audition, they actually asked us to film vertically. I would never instinctively do that. I would always film horizontally with my phone. So, but, I followed the directions. And the other thing I did is as soon as I got the audition request, I filmed it right away. I know that's not always possible, and believe me, I can definitely procrastinate. But I decided, it's a rare day where I actually had showered and put makeup on. So I thought, you know what, let's just get her done. And I probably, submitted it within maybe half an hour of actually getting the notice. So after booking the commercial, my first point of contact with production was for the wardrobe fitting. I mean, there wasn't anything too different from what one would normally do for a wardrobe fitting. The biggest difference was we were told to come to the wardrobe fitting and then stay in our car, text the production assistant when we were there, and then they would come out and get us. Normally you would probably just walk into the building and let them know that you were there. So when I got there, I texted the PA that I was there, and she said, perfect, I'll be out to take your temperature and sanitize your hands. I'll text you when I'm on my way out. And then an hour passed, I guess, because they were running behind. But that meant me sitting in the car for an hour, and it was like 90 degrees that day. Not a huge deal, just a little different, not what I was expecting. So eventually when she did come out to get me, she had to do the forehead scan to take my temperature, and it was reading at 102 because I had been sitting in this burning hot car for an hour. Luckily she said that's okay, everyone's been testing really high because we know that you all have been sitting in your car for so long. And basically the whole purpose of that was just to have less people in that smaller space trying on clothes and whatnot. Then when I actually got into where the fitting was with wardrobe, it was, there's not much to tell in terms of that. Everyone had a mask on. I mostly had a mask on except for when they had to take reference photos to send to the clients. So, not a huge deal. That was basically it. The first thing they did tell us is that we would be having to get a COVID test at about 72 hours before the shoot. Essentially, I was instructed to go to a certain location, said that production company just had a corporate account, and just tell them the name and it would all be taken care of. Hey, so I'm here. It's about 4 days before the shoot, and I have to get a COVID test. I thought it was going to be the type of thing where I could just walk in, tell them which production I was with, and walk out, but it was actually a huge line of cars that wrapped all the way around the block. So I've been waiting for 40 minutes now or so. I was supposed to get it done before 2, and it's almost 2. So I'm sure it's fine. This will be one of those deep nasal swabs. I did the just the mouth swab one before a couple months ago. So I've been kind of scared to do this kind of test, but I'm sure it's not that bad. I saw a video of a Marine like shaking and crying after he got his, so that like really freaked me out. But that was a while ago. I'm over it now. I've seen a bunch of people now get the test and they seemed okay. So yeah, let's see how this goes. Hi, Audrey.
Alrighty, what's your birthday? Feels like water going inside your nose. It doesn't hurt, it just feels uncomfortable.
Okay.
If you sneeze, cough, or have any teary eyes, that is normal.
Okay.
Just try not to sneeze or cough at the moment, okay?
Gotcha.
Alright, just lower your mask just a little bit. Cover your mouth. Perfect. And look towards me. Take a big deep breath. Slowly exhale. And then just breathe normally. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Have a good one, alright?
Thanks. That wasn't bad at all. Yeah, so that wasn't bad at all. It just felt like a little tickle, a little tickle in my nose. So, wow, really, really not a big deal at all. When it came to actually filming, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if we'd even have food because I didn't know how they were doing craft services. Before arriving on set, we had to fill out a questionnaire, basically answering whether we were having any symptoms, if we had tested positive within the last 2 weeks, if we had come in contact with anyone who had tested positive. So you had to fill out the questionnaire before arriving on set. Once you got there, did we do another temperature test? I really don't remember. I think they did take our temperature and sanitize our hands, and then they gave us a little bracelet, which I still have somewhere, little bracelet just showing that we had been checked off. We had to be wearing a mask, and then from there, you know what, they actually did have food. One of the PAs brought us food. They had a craft service truck making food for people. Hair and makeup was, I mean, honestly pretty much the same. They had like a plexiglass thing separating the person getting their makeup done from the person getting their hair done. The hair and makeup artists all had the mask and a plastic shield thing. And then honestly, you know, I had overheard the second AD talking about how he had gotten tested the day before and he was getting tested again that day, so it sounded like they were all getting tested almost every day. I mean, I felt fairly safe because I knew everyone there had been tested, plus everyone was wearing masks just to be safe. And then when it came to actually filming, obviously I didn't have a mask then, even though I have been seeing a lot of commercials with people wearing masks, I think just to kind of acknowledge this horror that we're all living through. Not that wearing a mask is a horror, it's fine, it's just the whole thing. I feel like it went off without a hitch, nothing too different per se. So it's, I mean, I didn't have any props that I was dealing with. I'm sure that would be another thing, if they'd probably have to sanitize all of that and only maybe that person is touching that prop. It's a lot for them to think about on the production side of things. As an actor, I felt very safe the whole time. It felt like everyone was taking it very seriously. Very grateful. I mean, I'm very grateful to have had the work during this time. You submit your self-tape and you know, that's, you let it go. Let it go. Because what can you do after that? Yeah, so it was such a pleasant surprise to actually be getting some work during this crazy time, and I think things are starting to pick up again. I hope that doesn't mean, you know, I hope people don't start becoming lax on things because it's just becoming, you know, the new normal or whatever, and you start forgetting the importance of safety during this time. But yeah, that's about it. Let me know if you have any questions and I am happy to answer them, except for what the commercial was because it's not out yet, so I'm not going to answer that. Bye! Because most people are finding comfort in watching TV and movies. Never did it ever enter my mind that I would be living through something like a pandemic. Did it occur to you? No, right? I didn't think so.